Dear Mr. A&R, we all struggling artists. Realize the world is cold, but we came here to spark it. Swimming little guppies in a sea full of sharks. It's gonna take a miracle to not end up hard.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Six with Ian and Thomas.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
This episode is going to be all about the, it's going to be talking about the end of the World Cup, and then we're just going to kind of go over some news and some random bits that have we've picked up since the end of Russia 2018, which I must say was a very exciting end.
I agree.
To a very exciting tournament.
I thought it was a great tournament.
Starting off the third place, so bronze medal, did go to Belgium. They were, I guess, my early favorites in the tournament. I was really hoping they would be able to pull off a win. They were not, unfortunately, losing in the semifinal to the future champions, France. So congratulations to France for their second ever World Cup.
Yep.
I think it was well deserved.
I think so. I think they played well. They had a little bit of trouble in the group stage, but once they got into the knockout rounds, I think they played well. I mean, yeah, and again, congratulations to France. I think they earned it.
I want to say a big congratulations to Croatia. I don't think anybody expected them to get as far as the final, and they definitely proved everybody wrong. Being able to get past a team like England who were on a pretty good roll there for a bit, and being able to get into a groove where they could just kind of, although, it was obviously tough for them, they had to go through a lot of extra times and a lot of, penalties, they were able to get through, and I mean, obviously showing their strength and their ability to keep pushing forward.
Yeah, I think they did a fantastic job. They really showed some resilience, and they showed a lot of heart. And a lot of times it comes down to stuff like that. How fast can you bounce back? How fast can you get back in a ready place to play again? And how much heart do you have? It was like in the Euros a couple of years ago with Iceland. It just seems like all of a sudden everybody was rooting for Iceland, which was cool. And it was the same thing, with this tournament with Croatia. The more they played, the more it seemed like everybody was talking about what Croatia's doing, what they did, what they're going to do, what they're capable of. And it was incredibly exciting. I was not at all surprised when France won the final. But I think
I
was definitely rooting
in the last episode.
Yeah, we did, but I was rooting for Croatia. I was really hoping they'd find that last little bit just to pull it off. But it was still a good showing. I mean, they fought every minute of that match. They gave nothing. So I mean, France earned their win. But Croatia definitely, earned the second place for sure. The third place match was, it was not as exciting as I'd hoped it would be. But and the result was what I thought it would be.
It was not the rematch we were hoping for.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Moving on to personal awards, I don't think there's any surprise in the personal awards coming out of this tournament. Golden Glove, Thibaut Courtois for Belgium. Yes. I think absolutely deserved, and I think he's come out and said that he believes that it brings up his transfer price, and I think he's absolutely right. He's now got links with Real Madrid. I think that's it's gonna cost Real Madrid a couple more bucks to pick up a world class keeper like Courtois. Golden Boot, Harry Kane. I mean, obviously,
I have some issues with that one. I honestly do.
I mean, why? He scored the most goals. I mean, that's what it is. And it is kind of crap because a lot of them were penalties. Unfortunately, that's just how it works.
Well, no, and I understand. I mean, within the the confines of how they pick and choose those people. Sure, okay. He scored the most goals. but by what, one?
was
And
two.
there were was it two? But there were two
Yeah,
or three other people who had, who were right behind him, and some of those people actually made it to the final.
yeah. I believe by the end of the tournament, both Antoine Griezmann and Kylian Mbappe had four, and Kane had six.
Yeah, and I
And
think when it comes to Golden Boot, I think they really need to disregard penalty kicks, which would have put Antoine Griezmann out of it as well, because I know he had at least one.
well, in that case, it would have come down to Romelu Lukaku and Kylian Mbappe tied.
Well, and
I
Kylian
believe
Mbappe
they.
made it to the final. I mean, there's my winner.
That's true.
But
Unfortunately, I mean, we have no, you know, we don't have any control over that. That's
yet,
just how it is.
yet,
Um, See, the golden ball is absolutely 100% deserved by Luka Modric.
I have
Ab
no issue at all with that.
100% man of the tournament.
Yes.
Gave his heart for every single game. Came out with the captain's armband for Croatia and played like a captain. Leading his team to a final with again an unfortunate defeat to France, but you could see the disappointment on his face when they gave him the trophy, because it's kind of a consolation, because of course he didn't get the one he was hoping for.
Well, sure.
But
I don't know that I would call it just a consolation. That's the golden ball. I mean, in a tournament like this, when you come in day one as an underdog,
hmm
and walk away with that. I mean, you got second place in the World Cup to a squad like France, where you have already beaten one of the favorites, England, and England even lost the bronze medal
and
match.
you ousted Argentina in the group
Yeah,
stage.
yeah. So I mean, I don't think it was disappointment that he got just a golden ball. I think it was disappointment that he didn't win the World Cup.
hmm
And that disappointment is understandable, but at the same time, I hope it's short lived for him. I think he understands, what he's done, what he has accomplished. Like you said, coming out with the armband, and leading that team. He played like Luka Modric does, though. I mean,
hmm
he and I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again and again. He is one of the most underrated players on the planet. He's quiet and understated, but he is a performer time and time again. I mean, he missed a PK, but whatever. You can say what you want about that. I don't care. He missed a PK,
hmm
but everything else he did was exactly as it should have been. And hats off. And I was happy to see that he won the golden ball. He deserved it by
And I
far.
think
And yep.
I think I guess moving back to his club team, Real Madrid, I think with some recent news that we'll go over later in the episode there, I think he's going to get a little bit more recognition. Because we'll go over that later in the episode. I'm going to stick with World Cup for right now. Silver ball was Eden Hazard. I
Again,
think
I have
he
no
deserved
issue.
that as well.
I agree.
He came out for Belgium and was an absolute playmaker.
Yes.
Every time he got the ball, he was looking to create something fantastic, which is exactly what you want from a player like Hazard.
Yes.
So I mean, no quarrels there.
No, no.
Young
I
player of the
was
tournament. Go ahead.
I was excited to watch Eden Hazard play in this tournament. His season with Chelsea, last season, the 17-18 season, was not his best. And I think there were a lot of undertones going on with things happening in the club, and just a lot of weird things going on with Chelsea.
Yeah.
And I think that showed in his performances, in the Premier League. Coming out in the World Cup, he was Eden Hazard again. He was having fun. And like you said, he was a playmaker. And yeah, I have absolutely no quarrels at all myself with him having with the silver ball. He had a great tournament. So congratulations to him. So, and
The final, I guess, major player trophy or award was the Young Player of the Tournament award. Easily Kylian Mbappe.
without a
I
doubt.
mean, there's nobody that really touched him, in I guess in his age bracket. He's just that's a future superstar.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a current superstar. Is what that is.
That's yeah.
He's 19 years old. That's the same age I am.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's won a World Cup, with his home country, which is, it's absolutely amazing to see something like that. And I believe, he recently, or no, sorry, Pele recently tweeted, because Mbappe is breaking records that Pele set. And Pele tweeted, if he's, I might have to dust off my boots and reclaim my records. And, Kylian Mbappe, humble, literally just replied, "The king will always remain king." Basically saying, like, look, yeah, I'm breaking your records, but you're still the greatest player to ever
Right.
grace the pitch.
Right.
Game recognized game. It's just, it's
True.
another reason why I love the sport, because you see this camaraderie between players who don't even play anymore. It's fun to see that kind of banter.
Yeah.
Just happening around.
Well, and even like the
world.
stuff between Beckham and Zlatan.
Mm-hmm.
And now and of course, and Zlatan said that he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Wembley. I'll watch an England match, wearing an England jersey, and I'm gonna eat fish and chips. And now the question is just when. It and again, like you said, it's camaraderie. It's banter. It's these guys have never been enemies. And Pele, I don't think he's threatened by Kylian Mbappe. I think he's just like listen, I set these records 60 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I set these records when his parents were probably not even born yet. And he's talking smack, and he has every right to talk smack. He's friggin' Pele. And he's one of those guys that Kylian Mbappe has grown up hearing about. You hear about these great players. So yeah, and like you said the game recognized game. So yeah, and I enjoy it too. I think it brings even more fun into the game to know that you have all of these people all over the world. Some of them don't even speak the same language, but somehow they end up figuring out what the other one said, and they can respond in kind. And it's really cool. It's something you don't get anywhere else.
Yeah, I guess that kind of wraps up our World Cup analysis for the season. We might talk about it here and there, referencing players.
Oh, sure.
That'll be about it.
It was a great World Cup.
It was absolutely fantastic. You're right.
Yeah.
It was. I think in my opinion, it was better than the 2014 World Cup. It was more exciting to watch.
I agree. And
kinda
don't forget the Women's World Cup's coming up next year. So
Yep. We will definitely be analyzing that, talking about that in our episodes. So stay tuned for that. It's like 350 days now about. So
Sure.
that'll be soon. Moving into recent transfers.
Man.
The big one. CR7 moves to Turin for Juventus.
Yeah. What?
We talked about it last episode. There wasn't anything confirmed, but it almost overshadowed the World Cup final, and in many ways it did. Twitter blew up about it. Social media just went alight about it. And I said it last episode. I don't think it's gonna be as good as of a fit as Real Madrid was.
I don't think so either. I don't think he's going to be in the spotlight as much as he's used to being in the spotlight. I mean, and I'm not slighting Juventus at all. The Serie A side is they're another European giant.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get the mentions that teams like Barcelona and Real Madrid get. In my opinion, somebody else may have a completely different opinion, and you're allowed to do that. I know. Right now, I can name you probably 2 or 3 of my friends who are Juventus fans. But when's the last time you saw a Serie A match televised in the United States? I don't think it happens unless it's like a European tournament. I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be a good fit for him. I don't think he's going to get the spotlight that he's used to. I think there may even be a little bit of dissent, just based on the fact that I don't know who the Juventus number 7 was before last Saturday, but he had to give up his jersey for this guy coming in. And I understand it. Do I agree with it? I don't know. Probably not. But I understand, the fact that, that he's got all these contracts with Nike, CR7.
Mm-hmm.
You can't change it all of a sudden to CR11. That'll
true.
just screw everything up. So, but again, like I said, I don't know who the number 7 was. But, now he's got to change his jersey, and so I don't know. It remains to be seen. We'll see. We've got a year to talk about it.
Yep. Just kind of generalization. I just want to point out kind of a fun fact. In the past 2 weeks, Chelsea has been Chelsea, and they have sent out 10 players on loan to smaller clubs. 10 players.
They always seem to have the most players out on loan, which is kind of cool.
Including Kennedy and Trevoh Chalobah, which are two. I mean, they're decent young players. They're players that I'm surprised that Chelsea's not giving them a chance.
Well, they are. They're giving them a chance by sending them somewhere else where they're going to get minutes on the pitch. I mean, you have to understand Chelsea's in kind of a tough spot right now. They're out of European football. So I mean they've got some rebuilding to do, and I think right now they want to rebuild the first team before they can start building up second team and U21s and U19s and whatnot.
Well, I think right now their goal should be to try and prevent the destruction of their first team.
They may have already missed that boat.
That's true. For a couple players, not quite yet. But in Maurizio Sarri's first couple days, he's having to deal with the possible loss of his first keeper, Thibaut Courtois, to Real Madrid. There are links from both Barcelona and Real Madrid for Eden Hazard. And there's apparent links with Barcelona for N'Golo Kante. I mean that's your number one shot stopper. That's your number one goal scorer and your midfield, anchor, gone.
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait and see what happens there.
Yeah. N'Golo Kante had a great World Cup too.
Oh, absolutely. I read a story. He basically had to be forced to take pictures with the World Cup trophy.
I did hear that.
He didn't want to, I guess, disgrace it. He didn't want to. He is by far the most humble player on the planet.
He felt like everybody else deserved it more than he did.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean that says a lot for his character.
And he's always the player on the pitch having fun. He's always the one smiling.
And he's a workhorse.
In training. And he is. I mean, he's much like Luka Modric in the midfield.
Yeah.
Or Kevin De Bruyne. He is the engine room of whatever team he plays for.
Yeah. And again, very underrated. You know, and I think it's a shame that, you know, and he was out on loan last season, wasn't he? I think he was. No, he was not. Okay, no, I'm thinking of somebody else. All right, my fault. But again, you know, he's kind of an underrated player. He's, you know, and I said it about Luka Modric. He's just quiet and understated because he's just out there doing his job. You know, he's not looking for the flashy. He just I mean, he's having fun. You know, he's one of those guys. I'm out here. I'm enjoying myself. I have a job to do. These people are expecting me to do this. They're expecting me to do that, and I'm going to go do that to the best of my ability, and I'm going to do it while I'm enjoying myself. And that kind of allows him to kind of, you know, scoot in under the radar. You know, again, you know, kind of like a Luka Modric kind of guy, and Kevin De Bruyne is the same kind of way. It's these midfield swing players. For some reason, just they are, you know, and you said it, the engine room, but they're not getting the recognition that, you know, to me, I think they should be getting. I mean, yeah, you want to have a flashy goal scorer, you know, like Cristiano Ronaldo, or you want to have a, you know, a flashy playmaker like Eden Hazard. You know, but if you don't have these strong, able and willing midfield players, you're in trouble. So, but yeah, I he had a great World Cup, and I did read that, you know, that he felt like everyone else deserved to touch the trophy more than he did, and that was, yeah, it speaks a lot to his character. I thought it was cool. So congratulations, N'Golo. You deserved it. You earned it. Go put your fingerprints all over that sucker, man. And it's stuff like that with this sport, you know, and you see it in other sports too. And I don't know if it's to the extent that it is with this sport, because this sport is in every single country on the planet. Where you have people like that. You know, you got guys like who are big and flashy, you know, like, and I mentioned, you know, C-Ron, you know, who does the stuff with the children's hospitals and things like that. And these guys all do this stuff. And you like to think that it's not just for the publicity. I don't think it is. I think it really is genuinely these people.
Yeah.
I think you get you know, what you see is what you get. You know, and I'm sure there's some publicity involved with it. I'm sure he's going to sell a jersey or two because somebody's going to say, "Oh my gosh, he's such a nice man. I'm going to go buy his jersey." You know, and that's cool. But I think it's genuine, you know, and guys like N'Golo Kante, this is not the first time he's done stuff like this. You know, and like you said, he is one of the most modest people. He just happens to be in a very fortunate place where he gets to play professional football on the world stage. And it means a lot to him, and it's cool, you know, to see stuff like that. You know, I was not years ago. People talked about, oh, Beckham, David Beckham's the best. And I was like, I really don't care for this guy. It wasn't anything particular. He's a phenomenal player. I mean, there's never a doubt about that. I watched an interview with him one time. It was right about the time he was getting ready to retire from professional football. And the fact that, you know, he's got a very famous wife, and they have kids and everything. And he said that he retired because he wants to have more children. He wants to be able to spend time with them. That interview was the realest thing, and I thought, and it completely changed my perspective on David Beckham. He's a super genuine, super cool guy.
Yeah, I mean, these players, I mean, like you said, they are genuine. Like, you know, there are, you know, a few of them, Neymar, who are extremely materialistic,
Did I hear something?
and you can tell. But I mean, you also have these humble players who just, they're in it because they love the game. You know, they love playing football,
Right.
and I can't slight them for that. It's just one of those things. And it's another thing, that makes me love this sport so much. It's because of the fact that,
Right.
they're doing it for the love of the game and to further the game. I mean, like you said, David Beckham is currently in extreme, end game talks with the MLS to get his own club in Miami.
Right.
I believe that's happening sometime in the next 2 years.
Yeah, I think so too.
He is doing that because I mean, this is actually something from his contract from when he played for LA Galaxy. When he moved to the MLS, basically the MLS told him, "Hey, thanks for coming here. Thanks for, helping further the sport and, make the sport bigger in America. We're going to help you even further down the line
Right.
so that you can help us even further down the line."
Right.
Because I mean, the ultimate goal is obviously to get soccer bigger than football in America. And that's a long way down the road. Unfortunately, America hasn't really opened their eyes 100% yet to realize that this sport is so much better.
Well, and that's kind of a chance that U.S. soccer blew.
Yes.
With this World Cup. I think with the 2014 World Cup, I think the fire was burning pretty good. And then with the qualifiers for the 2018 World Cup, that fire really died down. Now with the women, with their World Cup coming up and defending their championship, I think they're going to rekindle some of that flame. And I'm excited about that because, I mean, the women's team the last several years has definitely been the better of the two.
By far.
And I would have loved to have seen a matchup between the men's national team and the women's national team with Kristen Press and Alex Morgan and Megan Rapinoe and those ladies against guys like Clint Dempsey and Josie Altidore, and because I think the women would have stomped them. I think it would have been an absolutely unfair matchup. I tell you what, man, they could have sold tickets or they could have named their price on those things. I guarantee you I'd have bought at least 4 of them because that would have been awesome. But yeah, I think with the Women's World Cup coming up, I think the fire could probably be rekindled. I hope so.
Yeah. And what I'm excited about is, in the next couple years, I'm not sure if we have qualified for the Olympics. I don't remember. I'll have to look.
I
I'll have
don't
to look into that.
think that's happened yet. I may be wrong. We'll see if we can look. If somebody out there, if you're watching and you know about the Olympic qualifiers, drop us a comment, send us a message. Let us know what's up.
But in 4 years, I guess in about 3 years, when we go back into World Cup qualifying for the Qatari World Cup, which has been confirmed it will be played in the winter, due to the extreme heat of Qatar in the summer. They've basically announced the future of the U.S. squad, and it's being captained by Christian Pulisic. I mean, obviously, he's the only player that's had extreme experience in this side, and in Europe itself. I mean, the only two I saw a picture the other day of the starting 11. The only two faces that I recognized were Christian Pulisic and DeAndre Yedlin.
Yeah. And you could leave
US
one of those guys
soccer,
off the squad and it wouldn't hurt my feelings.
I'm not as against DeAndre Yedlin as you are.
I'm not against him. He's one of those that a few years he's better now than he used to be. I think he's kind of I think he's matured a little bit. He's a worker, and he performs. I had a lot of problems with his attitude, stuff like that. He thought he was a bigger star than he was, and like I said, I think that like you said, he's matured and he's kind of come out of that a little bit. But given the fact that he is a veteran of European football and he's a veteran of being on the national stage, They got to have some of that. There's got to be somebody there to say, listen, I've been here. I know what you guys are thinking right now. I know what you're feeling. It kind of help cut down the
Exactly.
nerves. So you got to have some of that in the dressing room. So
Yeah. I guess there's really one last thing that I want to talk about as we kind of get down to the end of our episode. Um, a lot of teams are releasing their kits for the 2018-19 season. And I saw an image the other day, and it blew my mind because Tottenham very recently released theirs. Here's a picture of the Tottenham 2018-2019 away kit. And here is a picture of the Barcelona 2017-18 training kit. See anything
where have I seen that before?
similar there? I don't know. It just seems kind of, I guess, lazy from Nike. I mean, they basically, took the old Barcelona training kit, ripped off the Barcelona logo, slapped the Tottenham Hotspur logo on there, and threw it at Tottenham and said, "Here you go."
And it's two things. One, it's not the first time we've said Nike was being lazy with their jerseys. That's been said, at least a couple times since we started doing these shows. And two, I would think that whoever's in charge of marketing and whatever for Tottenham would have looked at that and said, no, we really need something special for this season especially, because they're going to also reveal their brand spanking new White Hart Lane.
Yep.
And they are literally recycling a jersey to inaugurate White Hart Lane. I would be disappointed as a Spurs fan. I would be disappointed if I was a Spurs fan. But I'd be disappointed. That's a joke.
They also released a new boot that replaced their Magista their Magista line. And it's called the Phantom Vision. It's a good looking boot. I'm not gonna lie.
It is.
I personally don't wear Nike because I have wider feet, and Nike just doesn't seem to fit me as well. I mean, but it's a good looking boot. I would wear it. But again, it just kind of seems like they took an old idea, except this time it wasn't theirs. If you look at the Adidas X17 Plus Pure Speed,
this is our opinion only. Please, Nike and
isn't-
Adidas, don't sue us for anything. We're just talking.
it looks similar.
Yes.
I mean, no, I will say, I've been looking at the specs of the new Nike Phantom Vision, and it's cool. Obviously, they have some newer technologies. They have what's called I believe the Quad Fit, which is basically like a netting system, underneath, basically on the inside of the boot, with the lacing system attached to it. And then they have what's called the ghost skin, just covering that all up. So you basically have to reach in to tighten the laces and tie it up. And then you stick the laces underneath the skin. Again, this is, in our opinion, very, very similar to the X17 Plus Pure Speed. In my opinion, the Nike boot actually looks better. It's depending on which colorway you get. I prefer the all black one. It kind of seems like the Nike design team is just kind of, and nobody will notice if we just reuse something.
Yeah. Oh wait, that deadline's tomorrow. Oh well, here, just use that. And like I said, it's not the first time we've said that. I'm not completely against Nike. I have since in the last couple of years kind of jumped on the Adidas bandwagon. I've found more.
Thanks to me, you're welcome.
Yeah, I like the colors. When I'm an old fat over 40s 7-a-side player, but I still want to look cool. Because I can't play worth a crap, so I have to look cool. And And Adidas has just seemed to come a little bit more with that, with those colors. And, so, but you guys are watching, what's your favorite boot? What's the coolest one you've seen? What do you wear? Why do you like it? And with the new home jerseys coming out for the Premier League, the new away jerseys coming out, who's your favorite? And not just because you're a Liverpool supporter, so you love their new purple away kit because it's the coolest thing in the world. Leave us some comments. Send us some messages. Start some conversation with us. And if we like you enough, we'll mention you. I don't know. Just putting that out there. So, like I said, we want you guys to be interactive with us. So do that. Send us some messages. Tell us what you're thinking.
Yep.
Tell us how you thought about what you thought about the World Cup. What you think about the fact that it's hashtag not coming home. Unfortunately, that was really kind of a cool ride. But
I think
the Golden Boot winner didn't help out.
I think that's gonna do it for us this episode. We kind of went a little bit over our time, but we had a lot to talk about, and we'll have even more to talk about next time, as a day after this episode goes up, Ian and I will be fortunate enough to go watch the International Champions Cup in Charlotte. We will be seeing the Liverpool Borussia Dortmund game, and we should have some videos of us at the game,
Yes.
just us kind of talking about, what we think's going on. Obviously, it's preseason, so it won't be all the stars, but it'll be fun to watch. So, like I said, I think that's what I have for this episode. Unless you have anything else.
I really don't have anything more other than you said, about the stars and everything like that. I did see that Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane, who is now Liverpool's new number 10, are scheduled to appear. During this tournament. So hopefully we'll get to see Mo Salah, rip another net. But no, that's really all there is to it. We want to thank you guys for tuning in again. We really enjoy doing this. We want you to enjoy it. So like I said before, send us messages, start some conversation with us. Let us know what you want to hear, what you want to talk about, and we'll do our best to do that. We want to thank, first, I want to thank Thomas for, being the editor and the producer of all this stuff. I just set up my studio and talk for half an hour with my son. Thomas does all the really hard work, getting all the Facebook posts and stuff like that. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter. Click the bell on the YouTube so you get the notifications. A very special thank you to Macrophonic MC, who allows us to use his music for our intro and our outro. There's a link in the comments to his stuff. Check it out. He's a very talented artist.
In the description, not the comments.
In the description, not the comments. Check out the t-shirt shop. I think Thomas is sporting one. Yep, he's got the hoodie on with the original logo. There's 2 other logos out there to choose from. Check out the sticker shop, or I think you can get phone cases and stuff too. So check those out. And one of the logos with the pink ribbon, all the proceeds from that will go to breast cancer research. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Ian. That's Thomas. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.
Dear Mr. A&R, we all struggling artists. Realize the world is cold, but we came here to spark it. Swimming little guppies in a sea full of sharks. It's gonna take a miracle to not end up